Alright guys, I'm going to do a quick video. Hopefully everyone got a chance to watch that Kresnik video going over process. This has a couple of additions to that. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I just want to talk about how we apply it to our team and also what we can do. So first thing I loved about that video was the idea of a left-handed mid push. This would be a push in the event that they don't have a lot of pressure up on their IT side. If that's the case, then we have our flank around this area, using the height to their advantage and the health pack, and trying to push them back from this area backwards, and our combo on the point. And if we do this right and they haven't, we should be able to deny them the ability to come across IT, and then push forward and deny this area, force them back out through choke, and if they get stuck out in the yard, then we can collapse on them with the flank and ourselves and wipe them out or force them out of the point, at the same time that we're capping. We've already gone over our right-sided point. The only thing I want to change is I think flank should be up on the high ground. That was brought up and it makes a lot of sense. If you're over here, you're actually pretty far away. If you play on the high ground, then you can damage whoever you need to, and if the ability comes out for you guys to rush the appropriate pick classes. Remember, medic is not a pick class on the mid fight because they don't have Uber, we don't have Uber. There's no reason to kill the medic. Kill the sniper, kill the demo. When those classes go down, they're going to end up giving up mid, especially if their demo goes down. Mid's going to be over. So there's that. One of the bigger concepts though that I want to talk about was, I feel like one thing we did, and since it's such a stalemating map, is we failed to play off of an advantage. What I mean by that is we did a lot of 9 versus 9, Uber versus Uber fights, and that's wrong. I'm just gonna say this now so I don't forget. I'm just gonna make a point, talk about what to do when we have Uber and they don't. Okay, I'll come back to that in a little bit. I forgot about that first time I made the video. Okay, so how do we make an advantage that we can play off of? I think there's 3 major ways that we can. One is, say we're holding down the choke. I use this point as an example, but it's going to be the same for all. Holding down the choke, and it's 9 versus 9. They have Uber, so do we. We can start boosting our flank so that they can have more of an impact. Have Termi and Snapshot lock down the choke, and get our flank in here, start getting them heals, maybe get Rosie in here with them too. Get them heals so that they can actually win the flank fight, and ideally come and take this ground and force their team to start pressuring up, like stacking up. If we do that, then we have options we now have space. If we know where their medic is, the flank can go on a bombing run for the medic and try and get them to waste their Uber. Or even we can maybe kill a couple members of flank if they get caught out, not expecting the heals to be with the flank. And we can create an advantage that way. And we can also even just create some space. We can get them pushed back into here, and now suddenly they don't have vision of IT. We can bring Termi in here and push in through IT, or we can even back up and go through mid with the expectation that they're going to bring extra players over to their IT to assist their flank, seeing as now we just shown that we had a stronger flank. They may continue to do that, and then when they come in here and they find that it's just a regular flank in here, their demo's rotated to IT, and everyone has rushed in through mid, and they just got cut off in the mob, in the hallway there. That's one advantage there, is boosting our flank. The other advantage we can press is getting a pick with Pop-Tart. And this isn't just, oh, Pop-Tart, go get a pick, win the game for us. This is working with Pop-Tart so that we can make a pick as a team. Basically, Pop-Tart getting in position, getting behind the enemy team, communicating when he's ready to go for a pick, and then putting some pressure on. Not overextending, not coming through this choke, but if Termi comes up here, not past this point where it's going to get sticky and he's going to die for sure, but he comes up here and starts throwing in stickies, making it look like we're ready to come in. It's very likely going to cause them to focus more attention on here. Same thing with the flank. If we can boost our flank, or our flank can just get in and start putting some pressure on, it may cause their medic to turn and look at the flank, or just to concentrate too much on what's going on around him, especially if we have light pressure coming from mid and flank. Their medic is going to start feeling squeezed in on, and then add a third thing in their Pop-Tart, and it really gets hard. It may even be to the point where, Pop-Tart goes in for the stab, ends up whiffing, but because all of a sudden now everyone's here, everyone turns around for the spy, and flank and mid are able to just get in for free and start dropping some players. We've had that happen to us, where we all turn around for the spy, and it's fairly common. The spy can instantly kill you. If someone calls spy and you're all close, everyone just looks. It's just instinct. You don't want to get backstabbed, and you don't want to ignore the spy. So that's option 2. It's just going to be working with Pop-Tart to try and get a pick. Especially in an Uber versus Uber situation, we want to make sure that we have some sort of advantage. And I mean, Pop-Tart's not doing anything, just hanging out, so we might as well get him in there and try and get him to drop the medic. In an Uber versus Uber situation, the 3 picks that are the best in this order will be medic, demo, or heavy. If you get the medic or the demo, we should be able to push in really easily. And I mean, if the heavy sticks around, he's so slow, you just put stickies at his feet. As soon as that Uber passes, blow him up. Heavy might be a hard pick to push in on. But if the heavy's gone, we might be able to create some more space and get another pick before we go in. Now the third option, and our strongest option, is just going to be supporting S9 and letting him make a pick so that we can go in on that. Now, I've seen S9 do some things that we need to help him with for him to be successful. One is S9 loves to come up through choke and make a quick shot. In order for that to work, he needs to have the help of Termi in order to get out safely. So, I mean, S9 is basically going to come up here, peek around the corner. If it's safe, S9's smart. If he sees stickies, he's not going to go there. But if it's safe, he might come out here, take a quick shot. This is going to rely on the fact that S9 has a buff, and that Termi's ready to lay down some fire to get him out alive. So throw some stickies down at his feet, cover the choke off, so that when the enemy team sees S9 here, they're going to do one of 2 things likely. They're going to throw players at him, so they may get demo, soldier, scout, pyro, anyone fast to rush him. He's going to come in, take a shot, and then he's going to back up. So Termi needs to be ready to give him a retreat path, block him off, kill anyone who's going to try and suicide onto S9 once they see that he's so far forward. Same thing with Snap. Needs to be ready to assist in that. And we also need to expect that if they see S9, peeking out mid, they may say like, oh, well, S9's not watching IT. So they get extra players to come into IT and try and come up behind us and pick us off that way. So when S9 is aggressively sniping, we need to be ready for that and expect them to try and either rush S9 or to try and flank us and make a play based off of that. The other thing that we can do is peek some shutter doors. This works on this hold very well. S9 can stand right here, and we can have almost any player can. I think Snapshot or Flower are probably the best classes to do it. Flower because he's so fast, and Snapshot because he's so tanky. And I mean, Snapshot can even use Fist of Steel like they said in the video. And you just come up, open the door, S9 takes a shot, and you close it. As soon as S9 is ready for another shot, open the door, shoots, close it. It protects him from spam, protects him from being counter-sniped, and gives him a strong opportunity. I mean, look at the sightlines, right? He can see basically everywhere from here. Now, the only thing with this is they're probably, if that's happening, they'll probably try and get some people in IT to shut him down. It's either that or they'll go around. They'll know, they'll probably try and get people in sewer to shut him down. It's either that or they will know that no one's watching IT, or that S9's not watching IT, and they may fight in there. So, I mean, the combo will be ready to rotate. If we're doing this, Termi's holding down mid, the combo will be ready to rotate. If they start rushing into IT, then we just come out here and we fight him from here. Or Termi will be here and he fights him from here. If they start rushing to sewers to try and drop S9, Snapshot is ready to fight and just fights his way out. S9, Snapshot calls that they're coming in, because he'll have angles on the side more. Snapshot or S9 will mostly have tunnel vision straight down. Snapshot will see that they're coming in. S9 will run out. Snapshot will have his gun ready and be backing out here, just ready to protect S9 as he goes. Easy as that. This also works really well. Maybe here, if S9 calls for it, depends on where the medic's holding. I mean, it's not so good to get in. This isn't the best sight line, but the inverse is a great sight line right here. So if we're holding last, and I really think only Flower should do it on this, maybe Rosie, just because they're fast, whereas Snapshot's so slow he's going to get cut out. But just peek this door for him. Open it up, close it, and that's going to be that. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention was, what do we do if we have Uber versus non-Uber in a 9 versus 9 situation? And what we're going to try and do in this, and I'll have to talk and think about this more, but my initial thought on it would be not that you Uber in and you have Uber, so let's go, oh good, we can be invincible, let's get in here and wreck some face. I would say that you'd use the fact that you have an Uber to peek aggressively and try and make a pick so you have more of an advantage. And then if all of a sudden, Termy's peeking and he gets jumped, bam, we can pop Uber. Everyone's out of position, they're jumped in on him. So that would be my thought, is to use the fact that we have Uber, not to rush in on them because they don't, but to try and get aggressive and push them back without even having to use, and make some space and make a pick. Use the fear of the fact that we have Uber to cause them to back out. And that's what I'm going to think. And the other thing, the video did mention, Scout and Solly Ubers, and I do like that, especially in a we have and they don't situation, because it does uses our Uber advantage to create space. And I mean, honestly, if we have and they don't, and we get our Scout and our Solly to jump in on the combo wherever they may be and just create a fight, they don't even need to back up if that's the case, because we can just Uber Scout Solly in, Termy comes in behind, Snapshot's behind, all of that, and suddenly they have a lot of people fighting them, and 2 or 3 of those people have some level of invincibility that they can't deal with. So we're gonna have to just work on coordinating that. Maybe try that in a scrim, or do a dry run of that before we even start a scrim. Just to reiterate really quickly, I went over different mid fights, talking about how we don't want to ever do an Uber versus Uber 9 versus 9 fight. We want to make an advantage before we go in. So we're going to try our very best to either do that by boosting the flank, by coordinating with Pop-Tart to try and get a pick, and mostly by supporting S9. Letting S9 peek through chokes, letting S9 peek through the shutters, creating some space for him so that he can make a pick. And I think if we do that well, we're going to have a lot more success on offense here. I didn't really talk anything about defense onto these points, and honestly, I would have to think more about that. I don't want to make this video too long. So that's going to be that, and see you guys soon.